What if there was one idea or one strategy that could literally get you 5 times better results, greater results in every area of your life? 5 times more productivity, 5 times more money, 5 times more joy, 5 times better relationships with just one idea. Would you be interested in that? Well, I've got it for you. It's the Pareto principle, or you might know it as the 80-20 rule. And so this might be something you've probably heard of, the 80-20 rule. And it's just a phrase. It's out there so much that you just hear 80-20, 80-20, whatever. This one principle is incredibly powerful, and it can impact every area of your life with very, very little effort. So this was named, the Pareto principle is named after Vilfredo Pareto. And he said, in any series of elements to be controlled, a selected small fraction in terms of numbers of elements always accounts for a large fraction in terms of effect. So, for example, he found that in his garden, 80% of his peas came from 20% of his pea pods. And this, it happens throughout nature, and it happens in our lives. And it isn't always 80-20. It might be 82-70 or whatever, 82-18 or 90-10 or something like that. But this idea of a small percentage of your effort, of your inputs, make a huge difference in the output you get. And so the idea is, instead of just thinking 80-20 rule and it's some law, rule of thumb, something interesting, the idea is to look at 20%, the productive 20%, and then do more of that. So 20% of your marketing efforts are going to make 80% of your sales, 80% of your results. So find that 20% and expand on that 20%. 20% of your headlines or your email subject lines will make 80% of your sales, of your results, of your clicks, of your opens. 20% of the effort you put in your business will create 80% of the results. 20% of your relationships will create 80% of your connection and your joy. 20% of your physicality, of your working out, of your taking care of your body will make 80% of the difference. 20% of the food you eat will give you 80% of the nutrients. So focus in each one of these areas on that 20%. Now, there's a couple key things here. And a lot of this, I just have to, full disclosure, I was just hanging out with my friend, Eben Pagan. And Eben has gone really deep on the Pareto principle, and he was sharing some of this with me. And one of the key ideas he had was what he calls the No-Rado principle. And that's the idea of, if you look at of all the negative things that are happening in your life, the negative emotions, the negative results in your business, the negative relationships, the angst, whatever you've got, that 80% of that negative emotional result is being created by 20% of the inputs. So identify those 20% that are generating a disproportionate amount of your discomfort or your bad results, and work on reducing those 20%. Now, both the 80-20, both in the Pareto, the positive stuff, and the No-Rado, the negative stuff, it's also fractal. So of that 20% that's getting you 80% of the results, 20% of that, or approximately 4% of all your effort, will get you 80% of that next level. So I actually should be drawing this out. But the idea of it being fractal, it basically gets down to the bottom line is about 1% of your effort is going to give you 40 to 50% of your efforts. This works with pricing. Like if you're selling a product for, let's say, $100, 20% of the people that buy from you would pay you 5 times that price. So if you're selling a product for $100, 20% of the people will pay you $500. Now, it's probably not going to be the exact same offer. You're going to create a more in-depth experience. You're going to create a more robust product, but for 5 times the price, you can probably come up with the effort to do that. And then it gets fractal there. Of that 20% that paid you 5 times, 20% of them will pay you 5 times that, which would be $2,500. So that's how you go from a $100 product to a $2,500 product. Now, you'll be dropping the number of sales, but it will make a huge difference in your bottom line. So really think about this in every area of your life and focus on the 20% that's getting you either the results you want or the 20% that's getting you the results that you don't want. And obviously, in the case with the results that you want, then focus on doing more of that 20%, and vice versa. For the 20% that's giving you the bad results, how can you reduce that 20%? So I'm Jeff Walker. Wherever you're watching this, scroll down, leave a comment for me, give me some kind of reaction, and let's go get them this week.